Gawain and the Green Knight, a fairy tale. This version is by Charlton Minor Lewis. Copyright 1903. All rights reserved. We're going to start out with the preface, and we're going to go through piece by piece until we get the entire thing read. This is the play version, although it's similar to all the other versions. Arms and the man I sing, not as of old, the Mantuan bard in his mighty verse unrolled, but in such humbler strains as may beseem, light changes rung on a fantastic theme. My tale is ancient, but the sense is new, replete with monstrous fictions, yet half true. And if you'll follow till the story's done, I promise much instruction and some fun. King Arthur and his court were blithe and gay in high-towered Camelot on Christmas Day. For all the Table Round were back again, at peace with God and with their fellow men. Their shields hung idly on the pictured wall, their blood-stained banners decked the festal hall. Light footsteps rustling on the rush-strewn floors, and laughter rippling down long corridors. Attested minds at ease and hearts at play, rude Mars unharnessed for love's holiday. In the great hall the Christmas feast was done. The level sunbeams from the setting sun stretched through the mullioned casements to the wall, and wove fantastic shadows over all. The revelry was hushed. In tranquil ease, the warriors grouped themselves by twos and threes about the dames and damsels of the court, and chattered careless words of small import. But in an alcove unobserved apart, young Gawain sat with Lady Elfinhart. In Arthur's court no goodlier knight than he wore shirt of mail or Cupid's panoply, and Elfinhart to Gawain's eager eyes of all heaven's treasures seemed the goodliest prize. Now daylight faded, and the twilight gloom deepened the stillness in the vaulted room, save where upon the hearth a fitful glow blushed from the embers as the fires burned low. There's a certain subtle twilight mood when two hearts meet in a dim solitude that thrills the soul even to the fingertips and brings the heart dear secrets to the lips. In Gawain's corner, as the shades grew thicker, 4 eyes waxed brighter and 2 pulses quicker, 10 minutes more of the quiet talk unbroken, and heaven alone can tell what might be spoken. But it was not to be, for fates unequal compelled this anticipates the sequel. Just in the nick of time, King Arthur rose from his sedate post of prandial repose, and called for lights. Along the shadowy aisles, his page's footsteps pattered over the tiles, speeding to do his errand, and at once 4 tapers flickered from each silver sconce. The scene was changed, the dreamer's dream dispelled, and what might else have been his fate withheld from Gawain's grasp. So one may touch of chance shatter the fragile fabric of romance, and all the heart's desire, the joy, the trouble, flash to oblivion with the bursting bubble. But Arthur, on his kingly dais seat, felt nothing of the passion and the heat that fire young blood. He raised his warlike head, and glancing moodily around him said, "So have you feasted well, my knights, this day, and filled your hearts with revel and with play? But to my mind that day is basely spent, which passes by without accomplishment of some bright deed of arms or chivalry. We rust in indolence, as well not to be, as be the minions of an idle court, where all is gallantry and girlish sport, some bold adventure let our thoughts devise, to stir our courage and cheer our eyes. And lo, while he spoke from far away, in the thick shroud of the departed day, upon the frosty air of evening born, came the faint challenge of a fairy horn. King Arthur started up in mild surprise, while knights and dames looked around with questioning eyes, and each to the other spoke some hurried word, as, "Did you hear it? What was that I heard?" But well they know, for you must understand, that Camelot lay close to fairyland, and the wild blast of fairy horn, once known, is straightway recognized as soon as blown, being a sound unique, unearthly, shrill, between a screech owl and a whippoorwill. The mischief is that no one ever can tell whether such heralding bodes ill or well. The ladies of the palace looked faint with fear, dreading some perilous adventure near. For peril can the bravest spirit move, when threatening not ourselves, but those we love. But Lady Elfinhart clapped hands in glee, and soothed no sentimentalist seemed she, and cried, "Now, brave Sir Gawain, oh, what fun! Succor us, save us, else we are undone. Show us the prowess of your arm this night. I never saw a tilt by candlelight." Gaily she spoke and seemed all unconcerned, and yet a curious watcher might have learned, from a slight quaver in her laughter free, to doubt the frankness of her flippancy. Gawain, bewildered, looked the other way, and wondered what she meant, for in that day the ready wit of man was her under muzzle, and woman's heart was still an unsolved puzzle. And Gawain, though in valor next to none, wished that her heart had been a tenderer one. His sword was out for any foe on earth, and yet to face death for a lady's mirth seemed scarce worthwhile. What an underbade he'll do, but would have liked to see a tear or two. Thus while he pondered came a sudden burst of high-pitched fairy horn calls like the first, but nearer, clearer, and deadlier than before, blown seemingly from just outside the door. The casement shook, the taper lights all trembled, the bravest knight's dismay was all dissembled. And as all sprang with one accord to win their sword and shield stern combat to begin, the great doors shot their bolts and opened slowly in. And now my laboring muse is hard beset, for something followed such as never yet was writ or sung by human voice or hand, save those that tell old tales from fairyland. Miracles do not happen, it's plain sense, if you italicize the present tense. But in those days, as rare old Chaucer tells, all Britain was fulfilled of miracles. So, as I said, the great door opened wide. In rushed a blast of winter from outside, and with it galloping on the empty air, a great green giant on a great green mare, plunged like a tempest, cleaving thunderbolt, and struck four-footed with an earthquake's jolt, plump on the hearthstone. There was an uncouth waif, sat greenly laughing at the strange affright that paled all cheeks and opened wide all eyes. Till after the first shock of a quick surprise, the people circled round him, still in awe, and circling stared, and this is what they saw. Cassock and hood and hose of plushy sheen, like clothes cut grass on a bowling green, covered his stature from his verdant toes to the green brows that topped his emerald nose. His beard was glossy like unripened corn, his eyes shot sparklets like the polar morn, but like in hue unto that deep green sea, wherewith must shine those gems of rain serene, the dark, unfathomed caves of ocean bare. Green was his raiment, green was his monstrous mare. He rode unarmed, uncorsleted, unshielded, except that in his huge right hand he wielded a frightful battle-axe with blade as green as coppery rust, but the long edge shone keen. Such was the stranger, and he turned his head from one side to the other, And then he said, with gentle voice, most like a summer breeze that rustles through the leaves of the green trees. So this is Arthur's court, my noble lord. You said just now you felt a trifle bored, and wished instead of dancing, feasting, flirting, your gallant warriors